This is such a load of crap.
Miyu's protests at the door before her went unanswered, as Kirumi stood to the side and observed. Standard operating procedure by this point, really.
Perhaps we need another key to unlock it,
Kirumi theorized.
Yeah, that sounds like Monokuma.
Miyu reasoned.
Hey, here's a way to get to the next hallway. By the way, none of the damn doors are open. Piece of shit bear.
While I agree with your sentiment, I must ask as to why he would feel the need to do this at this particular juncture.
The maid inquired.
After all, the killing game seems to be progressing the way he wants it to.
Miyu shrugged as the two continued to explore.
I don't know. Damn thing probably flips a coin to see how much of an asshole he feels like being.
The two stopped at yet another locked door.
This is getting old,
the inventor protested. Kirumi raised up her hand to silence Miyu and placed her ear against the stark white door.
That's odd.
What is?
I think I hear someone in there.
How can someone be in there?
Miyu wondered.
We've already unlocked this floor.
I do not know.
Kirumi replied.
However, I may be able to discern.
From her hair, Kirumi acquired a hairpin and began to work on the lock on the doorknob.
A bobby pin?
Miyu asked, incredulously.
I thought that only worked in movies.
Weirder things have happened.
Kirumi reminded the blonde.
Omakun is not the only one with a few tricks to call upon.
Miyu chuckled.
Gotta say though, not sure I like the idea of a maid who can pick locks. Like it where I keep all my fancy stuff.
Fancy stuff?
Kirumi repeated inquisitively.
Well, in my case, my blueprints. All the stuff I'm gonna build, and, you know, the stuff I keep in my nightstand.
I won't ask.
Kirumi wisely decided. After a few moments of futzing with the keyhole, the lock was open.
We're in. Now let's be careful.
Don't want to let them know we're about to come inside, huh?
Miyu said, the second meaning clear. Kirumi brushed past it.
If that's how you wish to phrase it. Now hush.
The two opened the door just a smidge, and were greeted with a rather unexpected sight. Before them were three of their missing compatriots, Angie, Gonta, and Kibo. Judging by the fact that the room was filled with paint cans, sculpting tools, and canvas, it was quite clear that this was Angie's research lab. But that wasn't the unusual thing. The unusual thing was the bizarre position that the two boys were in. Gonta was shirtless, to Miyu's delight. Kirumi was less openly excited, though not about to protest. The bespectacled buff boy was doing a handstand, whilst balancing a bowl of fruit upon his bare feet. Kibo stood off to the side, doing what seemed to be a bizarre yoga pose, while also wielding Gonta's butterfly net. Judging by his grip, he intended to use it to snatch the bowl away from Gonta. Lastly, Angie was standing in front of an easel, capturing this strange still life through the medium of watercolor. Miyu and Kirumi shot one another a quick glance before slowly closing the door without a word. With the door shut behind them, Miyu spat into her hand and offered it to the silver-haired girl.
This never happened.
Kirumi grimaced for a moment, before she too spat into the palm of her gloved hand and shook Miyu's.
Agreed.
The computer lab, contrary to what one might suspect, was not a large bank of available computers. Rather, the walls were lined with a series of keyboards and small monitors, all of which were hooked up to a single hard drive that took up the majority of the room. It was like something one might see in an old war movie when they cut to the information division. Said hard drive was easily taller than any of the students and was emblazoned with a stylized X. There's an Xbox joke here somewhere, but I'm not sure what it is, Kaede observed. Shuichi, in less of a joking mood, tried as he may, but no matter which set of keys or which monitor he attempted to make use of, he received no response. I'm not sure what we're meant to do with these. I didn't expect internet access or anything, but I was hoping at least access to some kind of files. Maybe we could hack the system somehow, Kaede offered. Well, I couldn't, Shuichi admitted, but maybe Iruma-san or Kibo-kun could. Actually, Kibo-kun told me he doesn't know much about computers, Kaede explained. Shuichi tilted his head in confusion. Every day, Kibo-kun finds new ways to throw me off. Yeah, is the fact that I'm used to living across the hall from a real-life robot a bad sign? Kaede agreed. Shuichi shrugged his shoulders and turned to look at the only remaining feature of the room. Once again, a single treasure chest with no clear purpose. Do you think this one's empty too? The detective wondered. Kaede, in response, walked up to the chest and rapped her knuckles against it. The sound it made indicated that it contained something. I'm gonna try and open it, she announced. Be careful, Shuichi warned. Kaede nodded and moved her grip to the edge of the chest. As she prepared to open the lid, with the first crack of light peering into the darkness, the lid flew open on its own. Boo! Ah! Kaede shrieked in fear and retreated back to Shuichi from the shock. From out of the chest, Kokichi had jumped up, and he was now laughing up a storm. You should have seen the look on your face! What were you doing in there? Kaede questioned, still somewhat shaken from the events. Don't you see? Kokichi replied. The real treasure was my friendship all along. The short-statured boy made his hands into the shape of a heart to punctuate the claim. How did you get here before us? Shuichi asked, more confused than anything else. Trade secret, Kokichi answered, without actually answering. He climbed out of the chest and began to take his leave. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have other chores to take care of. Chores? Kaede repeated. You'll see soon enough, Kokichi warned. Before he could be interrogated further, he departed from the computer room. He worries me, Shuichi revealed. He's unpredictable and, frankly, more than a little unstable. Kaede kept silent. Something wrong? The detective inquired, sensing the pianist's unease. I want to stop trusting him, Kaede explained. I know he's just gonna keep doing whatever he wants, and he doesn't care about anyone but himself. But he saved my life. Twice now. Right, Shuichi recalled. Kaede had shared her realization about Korikyo's prior words to her with the black-haired boy. Kaede did her best to laugh it off. I'm a real magnet for trouble, huh? First Shirogane-san, then Shinguji-kun. Maybe I should be more careful around people whose names start with SH. Saihara coughed before responding. Sure. I guess. It took Kaede a moment to realize her blunder. Oh, no, it's different. Just, I meant surnames that start with SH. You're fine, Shuichi-kun. The room felt as though it had been completely drained of air. Both students' eyes went wide as soon as Saihara's given name escaped Kaede's lips. The prospect of referring to one another as such never crossed either of their minds before, but the concept held a certain appeal. It was now up to Shuichi to decide how they would proceed. Thanks. It's nice to hear you still trust me. The poor boy took as deep a breath as he could before continuing. Kaede? The two were now both blushing furiously, but before the conversation could continue from there, the nearby monitor sprung to life and Monokuma appeared in his chair. Attention all students! This is your headmaster speaking! I have a big announcement to make! If you would all be so kind as to join me in the auditorium on the double! The screens flickered off as the two were dragged back to reality. Kaede was the first to respond. Well, we better go see what that's about, right, Saihara-kun? Yeah, let's go, Akamatsu-san, Shuichi replied. The two walked away, each cursing their own cowardice for not continuing the previous form of address. End of chapter 20.